Hello, good evening, and welcome to this YouTube video about cabin fever and positivity. So, welcome to the. If you just joined us for the replay, you're very welcome. It's been a weird week, hasn't it? For every single one of us, we've all been adapting. Things have been changing, and yeah. And there's very much this awareness of what's going on in our world, of kind of that we're restricted in our movements. And that's why I thought about talking about cabin fever. So first and foremost, I suppose I want to say it's just been amazing to see the kindness that's been spreading throughout the world and in Ireland, and how much we're caring for each other. And don't you notice that when someone's kind, it kind of propels you to do something kind as well? So there's loads of resources out there that I will share with you later. But cabin fever, the word, it ironically comes from, dates back to like the 1890s when they had typhus. In America, that's where they think the origins of it came from. And it's interesting that in the late 1940s here in Ireland, we had an outbreak of TB, so people were restricted in their movements as well. So cabin fever and positivity. And in saying and talking about positivity, am I saying that we should be positive all the time? Absolutely not. It's not possible to be positive every single moment of the time, because if we're being positive and we're feeling fear, then we're kind of tapping that down. So it's really important that if you're feeling that emotion, that what you do is acknowledge it and say to yourself, you know what, I'm really fearful, or I'm frightened, or I'm irritated, or I'm frustrated. Name it, okay? Name it and say to it, and put it out there that actually what's going on just now is totally normal. Every single one of us is experiencing what's going on. So what are the things that you can do to help yourself regarding cabin fever? Well, I think the most important thing is your routine. So try not to deviate from your routine. Obviously adjusting it, keeping yourself safe. So for example, if you get up in the morning and you get up, you have your breakfast, and then you go out, and you might be going to work, for those that are working. But for those that are not working at the moment, that are staying indoors, get outside, really important to get outside, get our bodies moving. Having a walk every day is really good for us. Keeping that distance between others, like it's about 6.5 feet between you and the next person, going across the road, things like that. We talked about that before. But your routine is really important. So if you get up at the same time as you previously did, if you have your breakfast, your lunch, whatever time you normally have your lunch at, stick to those routines. Your dinner, what time you normally have that at. All these things keep us, because we are in many ways creatures of habit, but that's really important for us to do these things. In your living space, if you're confined in your living space, move things around, experiment, try different things. And if you have a confined room, when I was growing up, I had a box room, and I turned it around so many times. If there was things that were going on in my life that was really stressful, I moved my room around and decluttered. And doing that is actually really helpful to help you, because you're changing when we move furniture around. I think you're changing the energy, you're trying things out, and it might not work, and that's okay, but it's experimenting. Connecting with others. This is the most amazing thing that we have. We have this technology, we have the internet, we're able to share information with each other. We're able to, like, the jokes that I've been getting have been, and just the heartfelt. So sharing, if you see something funny, sharing it with your friends, because that is really important. Laughter is really powerful in helping us to cope with what's going on, because it releases endorphins, which make us feel good. Those feel good factors, the dopamine, etc. A good laugh is really good for helping us as well. And it could be whatever you find funny. We all have different sense of humor, so it could be me watching Cats Live and TV programs that you find funny. We've all got our different sense of humour, but that's the great thing about and sharing it with our friends. So connecting with our friends on a regular basis, checking in with them, seeing how they are. If you're getting irritated, contacting a friend that you can just have a rant, one that'll really listen to you and just rant about what's going on for you. Because in expressing how we're feeling is actually really, really powerful. And also, if you're on your own, it can be quite difficult, and you're like, it doesn't really matter. But if you're in a household where you've got your partner and you've got the children, it can actually be, I need a minute to myself. So one tip that I often give was spend an extra minute on the toilet. Spend time doing things together. If you're a family, board games are the best crack. Having a board game, there's loads. I'm sure there's loads that you have, but doing that as a family, so coming together, but also having time apart. So having time for you, doing something else, and that, as I said, going out for a walk is really useful. Listening to your favorite music. We have access to, we have it here online. We have access to so many songs. So creating a list of songs that you really like, that make you feel good. But sometimes you might not want to, feel good. But also that listening to that song that maybe really pulls at your heartstrings and allows you to have a cry. Because when we're stressed, we're invoking this whole stress response. I talked about the reptilian brain the other night. But crying is actually really healthy for us because it actually releases, the tears actually help to release what is going on and calm us down. That's why after having a really good cry, there's a calmness. You feel calm. And it's because our body is allowing us to express those emotions, and we're invoking the relaxation response. So we have the flight, fight, or freeze response, the stress response, but we also have the relaxation response. And that's important. That makes a difference. So connecting others, and as I said, that discomfort is really, really common. So I done a little bit of research about cabin fever or going stir crazy, which is another really good term. And there was a whole list of things, that restlessness that you get, it's like the other day, as I said, I got up and it was like I needed to get out. So getting out, doing things, keeping that social distance, really important. It's kind of a lethargy, you can't be bothered. Feeling sad, yeah, we're all going to feel periods of sadness because we're being confined. We're hearing on a daily basis that, the death toll is rising, and that's going to continue to happen, unfortunately. But we have it within our powers to wash our hands when we're out coming in. All those things make it, keeping our distance, all them things make a difference. But you might also find that your concentration kind of goes. It's like you try to read a book and it's not very good. And that's really normal. So, if that happens, it's okay. Maybe listen to some music, maybe watch your favorite TV program. There's things these are normal situations, so there's going to be little things. As much as possible, as I said, keep your routine, but it's okay to deviate away from it slightly. It's going to help. Lack of patience. We talked about patience the other night, but patience, it can be very difficult when there's all these people around you, or you're on your own, or the children doing something, or your partner's doing something that is like, it's like this irritation, this anger, and the result is they might do something, and they might have done a million times, and it's not an issue when you're feeling good. But if you're feeling sad or whatever, it can be, you can just click and your voice can get raised and whatever. So when those things happen, when there is times that people are, being a bit irritable as a couple, the best thing to do, if you can, is give each other space, give each other time to, relax, to calm down about it. There's no point having a discussion about it, when you are both kind of feeling hurt. So you wait, and things like saying, I think, their starting sentences with them are actually really, really good because they're your opinion, they're not anybody else's. Food cravings. So it could be that you find that you're picking more, or eating less. So again, that I'm not a dietitian, but eating healthily really does have a difference. If we're eating food that isn't healthy for us, it's going to have an impact on our mental health. It's going to make us feel a bit yucky. So there's that. The motivation, the ability to kind of do things, sometimes it's going to be out the window, and it's accepting that and allowing that to be. Feeling lonely, and that can happen. That can happen in a household where there's there's a whole pile of people. There's that fear of on the unknown of what's going on. But we have a choice in everything that we do. If we go back to our thoughts, I was talking about the other thoughts, feelings, and our behaviours, we have a space. Viktor Frankl, who was a doctor in Auschwitz, was the concentration camp. He talked about how he had the one thing that he had was hope, and it was important to keep that alive. So he had a choice. So he made a choice about how he thought about things, about making them, turn around to be positive, and not letting other people's feelings encroach on him. So that's really important thing to do. And if you are feeling worried, a really old film, 1938, Scarlett O'Hara, Gone with the Wind, and it was the American famine and American Civil War, and there was famine, and there was hardly any food left. And she swore, she lifted the sword and said, "As Tara is my strength, for as long as I live, people will not, no one of mine will suffer this hunger again." And she would say to herself, "Oh, that's too much. I'll think about that tomorrow." So she'd pass it over, and she'd focus on other things. So, it's a long film, it's 3 hours, it's definitely one to worry about. And as I said, venting to a friend as well. And the other things, so to talk about positivity, I'm just turning around, I have a few notes. So talking about positivity, it's a choice that we make, as I said. We can't have it all the time, but it's about looking at what is going on, and is there something that is positive within that. So, for example, the days are getting longer, and I don't know if you've noticed that the buds are starting to form on the trees. You can see that things are growing, and the plants are the flowers are starting to come up. So there's a lot of good taking place at the moment, and it's important that it's about looking at things around you and taking time out of your space. So distracting yourself with things. There's a lot of things that we can do to help ourselves. So learn new skills, listening to music that we don't normally listen to. This platform has a lot of information that would be useful. Listening to music that you've never listened to before. It goes way back, the music. So something you haven't listened to before that you maybe heard, or maybe a song that they've put out that you haven't heard of before. So they're really useful things that you can do. It's all about, in all of this, whatever we do, it's all about, doing things, the timing of things, at the appropriate time. So if something sad happens, maybe that's not the moment to go, well, this is the positive of it. Maybe it's about feeling those feelings and letting them be. And feelings kind of have, they've talked about the curve in the, the graph that they've been shown on television, and they want it kind of over a steady game. But sometimes if our emotions go up, if you feel nerve, you have to come down again. So it's acknowledged. So there is a time frame to your emotions. It's just that sometimes the emotions happen, and then the thoughts kick in. So it's about those feelings that kick in, and accepting them, and just being with them, and just feeling where you feel them in your body. Just taking a minute just to sit back, and even stretching. Taking the time to stretch out. I'm having a breath, and just a breath to breathe in and out. So that's actually things that are really useful. And our environment. So what we bring into our environment, what we take out. So some of the recommendations are that we restrict ourselves to maybe watching one source of information, and we watch that maybe once a day and then let it go. And then maybe at the weekends taking a breather from what's going on. Because there is a lot of sad news out there. We're seeing a lot of things that, that people haven't expected to see, of businesses closing down for the time period. And that's the thing, it's the uncertainty. And I suppose that's what the frightening thing is, how am I going to cope? Be it financially, be it, being in a house with other people, whatever it is going on at that particular time. Just taking the time for yourself. There is a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of support being given on Twitter as well. I'll pin it to my profile. But it's about looking at, there is support on there. There is people you can talk to, who will listen to you at this time. There's a lot of free advice, support being given out there. I'm doing this. There's other things going on. So I'll put a list on my Evolution Counselling Google website of resources that are available. But there is a lot, and just look around you. And that's the other important thing to talk about. And I knew this, but it was confirmed for me recently. So if you're Googling things, okay, and you're looking, say, for sad songs, then Google will keep looking for that. So every time you kind of open it up, it will suggest sad songs. So the more that you look for things, the more Google will give you. So it's important to know that, because mobile phones are fantastic. They are absolutely amazing. But here's the thing. They're like, them coin machines that you used to put the money in, and they're actually quite addictive. They're great fun, but they can be addictive. Well, that's what the mobile phones, they're all geared up for that, to kind of bring us back. So, like their dopamine, we might go onto our mobile phone 50 times and get one feel-good hit of dopamine, but our brain remembers that. So it's going to constantly go back to it. So it's important. Everything in moderation really is the answer. It's okay to have treats. Social distancing really is the answer. People, as a family, it's okay if we used to walk together. Well, the advice that I heard, but I'm not going to go there. But in the house, our house is a safe place. It's a safe place to be, making sure when we come in and wash our hands. But it is a safe place, I hope, for you. And if it's not, then get in touch. There is resources available that you can do online on your mobile phone. There is a lot of resources available. For example, as I said, I talk on, I do counselling online. You can use that on your mobile phone. And if you have a car, you can take yourself off and you can do your session on your mobile phone. So there is ways around, and we are allowed to get out. And that's the most important thing. So I'm Gráinne Clancy from Evolution Counselling, and I'm going to sign off, and I'll be talking again next week. Haven't decided when I just follow me on social media and you'll find out what's happening. And as I said, I put a list of resources that are available on Google and on Twitter as well. And just keep yourself safe, mind yourself, and that's it. Bye. Take care.